Welcome to the Outdoor Test Kitchen Podcast. I'm your host, Seth, along with Jtim, and together we'll be discussing all things cooking, camping, and everything in between. We've got an exciting episode in store for you this week, so let's get started. Well, hey, everybody.
Welcome back
to OTK. Hope you've had a wonderful week.
We sure have.
Yes, we did, and it was a birthday week over here.
What? Yep, yeah. It was my birthday. Actually, Monday was my birthday.
Yes, an old man.
Yeah. Yep.
So we didn't do some of our normal activities.
Not as much of the normal activities.
You know, and plus it was hot and hiking in the extreme Texas heat.
Yeah.
It can be challenging.
It is challenging, actually. Even the lake was having some trouble.
Yes, well, you know, it hasn't rained in a few weeks, so of course the water levels are kind of starting to drop. But I will say it is, it's not as bad as last year. Last year was, by this time last year, was horrible. We were drought, fire bans, and so forth and so.
Yeah.
But
I mean, last year around this, actually a couple weeks ago last year, the water level at Purse Creek was to our ankles. It's still up to our knees, a little higher.
So,
whenever you are right next to the brick area, of course, that's what I'm talking about. Not the whole lake.
Yeah, no. But in the beach area, as they would say.
The beach area. But yeah.
But it was a great week altogether. We
went over to Uncle's house.
Oh, yes. We traveled down to where he lives and his family, and one of his girls wanted to make dinner for his birthday.
And it was delicious salmon.
Yes.
It was very good.
She did a nice little beurre blanc, and they did some asparagus, roasted asparagus, and some
bit of lemon and butter on the asparagus.
Mm-hmm. It was very good. I was not gonna lie, I was impressed, and it was very good.
It was. The salmon was cooked very well.
Oh, actually. It was almost perfectly nice. She did it in a cast iron, which I was so happy about. But
I think it was a large cast iron too.
Yeah, well, they know quality.
Yes, they do.
And then she finished it off in the oven, and when she plated it in the beurre blanc sauce, which is kind of a lemon or more of a wine butter sauce.
Yeah.
And very kind of traditional French sauce, but she did very well on it. And
you could cut the skin of the salmon with your fork. Yeah.
So she did awesome, and it was very good, and it was fun hanging out with them and catching up. We don't really get to see them all that often because we're traveling, and, you know, since we were back kind of local, we decided to drive down. They live, you know, a little ways from us, but it was nice. Went and stayed the night with them and hung out. And
watched a movie. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was funny.
It was. Just spending good time with family. That was, I mean, that's what it's about.
It is.
And then, she also made a
peach pie from scratch. The whole thing.
Yeah, crust and all.
Yeah.
So it had some peach pie with vanilla ice cream. I mean, come on. What can you ask for?
Yeah. I mean, and she made those ginger kind of nutmeg
lemon curd cookies.
Yeah.
She made a lemon curd, and she made some cookies or the little ginger snap kind of cookie. Not really ginger snaps, but ginger sugar cookie, lemon curd.
Yeah.
And instead of cinnamon, she substituted it with nutmeg because funny story. It's also my father's and his grandfather's birthday the day before, and she was making those for him and let us try them, but somebody kept on walking back and eating more and more of Grandpa's present.
Well, you know, I didn't realize that they were for him.
They didn't specify.
They didn't. And I might have took advantage.
Well, considering lemon desserts are probably your favorite.
They are. Dessert-wise, lemon, it is my favorite.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And also the next day, I went and had lunch. Had some pretty good barbecue at a little local place.
Yep. Had a little birthday lunch.
I know, you were just fed all weekend long by other people.
It was crazy.
It was great because I got to tag along and just eat.
Mm-hmm.
So then after that, we went to see your grandma, Honey, and she cooked an amazing dinner as well.
She did. But we stopped before we went there. We stopped by a little RV place.
Oh yes, an RV superstore.
Yeah, RV superstore. That's interesting. So yeah, it's really unfortunate, I guess would be the word I want to use, on the options that the majority of people have when it comes to RVs.
And the price versus quality, I would say. And even in the display models, I mean, if they're breaking and I'm looking at one, even though that's not the model I'm going to buy, that's just a display model, and then they'll sell me the one that's been tucked away. Yeah. But if that one has broken problems from people checking it out, why?
Yeah, and people checking it out isn't really going to be the hard usage that you're actually going to put that thing through.
Yeah.
So
it's just crazy looking at the prices of them and looking at a lot of the amenities and the way that they design them. And we'll go into some of that probably in some of our news segment. But
it's just surprising. I mean, I understand that, you RV, you want to be lighter weight and this and that, but there's got to be a better material than the junk they're using.
Well, or better craftsmanship or something, instead of just
something
putting them together. And you're looking at $100,000 RV.
You're not getting $100,000.
No, you're not getting $100,000 worth. I don't know where the $100,000 is going, but there's the that certain company that's kind of controlling the RV industry right now. But hey, are you RVers? Let us know your thoughts on the quality and of the vehicles, the RVs you're buying. So drop us a comment or send us something about it. We'd like to know what your actual thoughts are on what they're producing now.
That's absolutely true. We would love to hear your input on that.
Because, I mean, the problem is we've been looking for an RV for a long time, but every time we get on one, it's just full of disappointment. And then I see the price tag and I'm like, I'm not going to pay for disappointment. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
I do that enough when I go and eat out.
Yes. So, and with that sticker shock, and these are even some bumper pulls, even when you get down to even the $50,000 range, it's kind of crazy what you're not getting, but you're having to spend that much.
Yeah.
And it truly blows my mind that they haven't really listened. And I don't know if they're listening to the customers or they're just really growing a company and shareholders are the most important thing, not the consumers. But, there's that one company that really has taken control.
Yeah, that one company that you all know. And if you don't, simple Google search, you'll find out.
Yeah, when you go and look at an RV and realize why are they adding this and adding that, is because the one company controls most of the market.
Yeah.
But yes, we did check them out, and we saw some really cool camper vans and
like the van life kind of.
Those things. Talk about sticker shock. for a van.
Especially knowing the base price of the vehicle itself.
Yes. I mean, because we shopped them and we going to build out one, and we looked at from the Mercedes to the Dodge, even the Ford. In buying it and building it out yourself with actual quality materials and a layout that actually works for you is so much cheaper.
If you're going to slap 70 thou additional onto something.
And you don't, and now you're talking about building it yourself. So you're going to throw on another 70 grand. You can hire someone to customize it and build it out exactly to you. I don't know why you'd walk in there and pay for was 160,000.
Some of them were 160.
For a 19-foot Sprinter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
okay. Well, not all of us have that.
I mean, you could, for cheaper, you could buy a new Jeep Gladiator, and you could buy a new bumper pulled trailer. Once again, for cheaper.
Yes, or for cheaper, you could buy a Sprinter or a Pro Max with completely blank, and then pay someone that knows what they're doing to build it out to your customization of exactly what you want and what works for you and your lifestyle. Then pay some astronomical. I really don't understand how people can justify putting that much money into a product that really doesn't hold the quality. I'm sorry to say that RV companies, they've really got to step it up now. And I know everybody jumped into the RV lifestyle, especially during COVID, and that was great. And I think they were trying to pump them out, and they've really downgraded quality, because you can see a lot of older 5-10-year-old RVs that seem to have a better quality of build than the new ones that you're getting for twice the price. And and I understand inflation and whatnot, but there's a lot of inflation, but there's not that much to justify a $160,000 19-foot Sprinter van.
You're not wrong.
No, I mean, come on. I mean, that's what a 1,500 square foot house used to go for, should go for, but that's another topic.
That's also that's a whole nother topic.
But it was fun looking around, and I will say the van that we saw, they put the restroom in the very back.
Oh yeah,
and that was actually if you want a restroom in the van, that was the best and most roomy place that actually made sense. Yeah, because the other ones were kind of in the middle, and they really protruded, but they really gave you no room as well.
Yeah, they didn't give you any room, because you open your little van door and you've got your little almost banquette, and then a little teeny tiny walkway, and then you got your shower, and then you open your shower doors and it blocks off your walkway. Yeah. So it just doesn't make sense.
Even if it's just you, but still, it's a wet head, but they didn't, or a wet restroom, but they didn't even build up enough of a blockade at the bottom, because even if that little shower curtain they included, you're going to get your floors wet. And even if you have a wet restroom, and a wet restroom being that the toilet and shower, everything in there can get wet, there are good design wet heads or wet restrooms that do work and that don't create a complete mess when you're in it outside of the restroom. And so I think having it in the very back of the van was probably the best option. And if you were in a secluded area, you could open the back doors up and have a very, nature style shower.
A very natural shower.
Yes. But it was fun. It's always fun to go look and kind of, I guess, critique. But
because really not window shopping.
No,
or just it's fun to go out and look at them. But I guess, like you said, it's more to kind of critique and kind of see the things that we don't want to do.
Yes, and kind of try to find what our ideal bucket list of, if we go into an RV, what we'd really want And unfortunately, right now, they're really not providing that. Now, we've seen some in the past that were great.
Yeah.
And that would pretty much fit all our needs and wants. But now they're really not producing it. We should have jumped on them back then, honestly.
Should have. Definitely should have.
But
to kind of get back to closing that soapbox.
Yes. But then after that, we went and had a nice dinner, birthday dinner.
They cooked me a nice, very delicious ribeye.
Oh, yeah. So talk about, it was kind of a very southern steak dinner. We had ribeye, fried green tomatoes, fresh from the farmer's market. Also, some stewed okra and tomatoes with bacon and everything. That's very old school Southern. But those regular tomatoes and okra were from the farmer's market.
And we had some roasted sweet potatoes.
Oh, those were good with rosemary.
Oh, yeah. Rosemary and some butter. Just,
there's nothing better. I love sweet potatoes, and I used to not, to be honest. But once I started trying sweet potatoes that weren't done with all the sugar and marshmallows, I really fell in love with sweet potatoes, and a very balanced, sweet and savory when they're done, not just, at Thanksgiving, everybody puts a pound of brown sugar and a bunch of marshmallows on top. Yeah, I know people love it, but that's great, but that was not my forte back in the day.
Yeah, but then also on top of the ribeye, there's this little compound butter.
Oh, yes.
It was.
Well, and Grandma Honey, she grows some of the best herbs. I don't know what she does, but they are potent and have so much flavor. And so it just took, went out there, got some thyme, some basil, a little rosemary, put a little garlic and made a compound butter. And then once the steaks were finished, during their rest period, we put a bunch of globs on top of them. So as they rested, that butter melted down and, tender and perfect. And we cooked it in our Lodge cast iron.
We did?
Her Lodge cast iron.
Yeah. No, yeah, it was hers.
Yeah,
it was hers. But it's still good.
And then she made an awesome lemon pie.
Oh, yes.
With some great, she made the whipped cream.
Yeah. Because she's not much of a meringue person.
She'd rather have just a good sweet whipped cream. As she said, why do I want to eat air?
She said, why do I want to eat air when I can eat delicious whipped cream?
Yes. But we also made our green goddess dressing.
Green goddess dressing, yeah.
For her with her herbs. And I'll tell you what, that recipe, a little hint of next week, that is going to be the recipe of the week, our green goddess. And
we
everything
that we listed out to you, we had on our plate, and we had some green goddess with it.
Yes, the fried green tomatoes and green goddess were amazing. And then the steak, having a little bit of the green goddess and that fresh herb and everything was. So, I know we've talked about the green goddess before and being like the coleslaw that I traditionally, we also made that earlier the day before.
Yeah.
And, but, man, green goddess dressing, it can be utilized on a lot of different things. And I'm really excited to play around with, a couple of savory dishes, maybe some fish dishes with that.
Yeah.
Because, it has all the fresh herbs and a little of the creaminess and the Greek yogurt and the mayo and so many different, great fresh. It's so fresh tasting. And so it's more than just a salad dressing. I will say that after this weekend, after your birthday weekend.
It's definitely not a unitasker, that's for sure.
No, it's not. And even the slaw, we made sandwiches. With it.
Oh. Well, and also we made our own chicken, like our
chicken. our own. We've been working on some things, and we'll bring it to you, but kind of making our own sandwich meat. Just because if you look at the back of the labels of typical sandwich meat, a
lot of not good.
Yeah,
things.
It's not really good for you. So we've been playing around with some recipes of making our own sandwich meat, and when we develop the final ones, we will definitely be sharing them with you guys. But
And actually, a little side take on that. That sandwich that we made, it always happens to me for some reason. I don't know why, but it does. 2 pieces of cartilage.
yeah, well,
The only 2 pieces of cartilage
that is
in
true.
all of that chicken
Well,
in my sandwich.
well, that's why you're the taste tester.
Yeah.
You make sure my sandwich amazing, perfect, no cartilage.
And that's always the case.
It is true. If there's
Like-
a bone or a piece of cartilage to be found when you're picking through something, he will find it. So the key,
If you make me a plate, it's on that plate.
and if you're worried about it, make sure you give him the first plate, and he'll find it for you.
Yeah, well, just let me know what's in there at least. If it's something I shouldn't have, I mean, if it's a piece, I dropped a piece of glass in there or something like that, and it's bound to come to me.
Yes, that is very true.
Yeah.
But it was great with the little chicken. We had some tomatoes and onions, and then the slaw mixed with the green goddess dressing on top. And Grandma Honey, she was saying that she made a very southern tomato and onion sandwich. When you have really good tomatoes, really good Vidalia onions or noonday onion, really a true sweet onion. And typically just a little mayo and on some white bread. Oh, there's nothing better, especially Dave's white bread, but
Yeah.
that's a whole different subject. But she added the green goddess slaw on her tomato onion sandwich and said it was even better, which
That's hard to believe.
I can
just-
believe it with after eating that. Our chicken.
I
sandwich.
believe it, but like a tomato onion sandwich, it sounds weird at first, but once you have it,
There's nothing straight from the farmer's market. Thank goodness. Sometimes we don't like to get up that early, but she loves to get up.
Yeah,
and
she does
she'll
it.
make this farmer's market, and we get to benefit.
yeah.
Oh, but and that green goddess it's pretty simple. But we're going to be bringing that to you guys next week.
Yeah, next
But,
week.
One of the
Yeah. Do you know what one of the most important ingredients is in our green goddess dressing?
yes, the mayo.
Yeah. Huh.
It's the Outdoor Test Kitchen product review. Let's see what made it out of the test kitchen this week. Yes, indeed. Well, product review
Yes.
time, and
It is.
our product was mayonnaise.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
it was
We
Actually-
tried mayonnaise for y'all.
Yeah.
For all you guys.
just straight mayonnaise. The results were pretty surprising.
Yes, we did. We did some blind tastings. Mixed them up. Didn't know. We also cooked with a lot of them. Used them in sandwiches. Made spreads. Basically everything you do with mayonnaise.
Yeah.
We tried it with all the different brands, and really we were looking for. Personally, I love to make my own mayonnaise, but again, I can be lazy at times. Even though.
It's always good to have another option.
Yes, when you're really, but making your own mayonnaise is really simple, but that's another show. So we were really looking to try to find like the best mayonnaise that you would want to keep on hand or you'd want to take with you. A really good store-bought
Yeah.
mayonnaise. And let me tell you what, we ran down kind of the 7 mainstream.
Yeah, for the most part, the mainstream ones.
Everybody would know and have easy access to. And every single one of them was different. So
Yeah, they all had a completely different flavor.
if we recommend a mayonnaise for a particular recipe, there's a reason for that because each of these mayonnaise have surprisingly quite a different
Distinct flavor.
profile. Yes, from super sweet to super salty and everything in between.
That's true. One of them was surprisingly salty.
Yes, and I kind of knew which one that was when blind tasting it because I'm not a big fan of it.
He knew, actually, a couple of them just by tasting them.
Yes, because we've had to work with them and catering and different recipes. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I don't like this one. And I know which one this is.
Yeah.
But we'll give you a rundown of the top 7 we did.
Well, let's tell them the brands we did first.
Well, that's what I was. I'm not. Sorry, I wasn't meaning like our top tier.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give you the list of the 7 that we tested. We did a Sir Kingston's Mayo, which is non-GMO and organic. A little on the pricey side, about $6.
Yeah, probably one of the more expensive ones, especially for the amount that you get.
Yes. Kraft Mayo, Hellmann's Mayo, regular Hellmann's, not olive oil or light, just plain regular Hellmann's. Hellmann's Vegan Mayo. We wanted to, be kind and give vegan options.
See what the vegans are into.
And Miracle Whip, because we know that's a little bit of a curveball, but a lot of people, and like we were talking the other day, a lot of restaurants I know use Miracle Whip or salad dressing as a non-generic, or as a generic way to call it. But they use that instead of mayo for their burgers and sandwiches. So we threw that one in.
Figured might as well.
Duke's Mayo. And then the Walmart Great Value brand Mayo to give a complete scale from generic to fancy pants to vegan to Miracle Whip. So
it first place to me wasn't surprising.
No, it really wasn't. And a lot of when I was tasting these, in my head, I was really trying to think of like what is the closest to a real like mayonnaise that you would make yourself, which is a couple egg yolks, lemon juice, oil, emulsion, simplistically.
And that's basically mayo.
And so that's when I was tasting each one of them. I was trying to figure out, well, which one would be the closest to actually a homemade that you could get away with saying, no, I did make my mayo. And then, so I wasn't surprised for the first one, which.
Yeah. And some of the parameters that we did judge on were the texture, the acidity, the flavor when you first eat it, and the flavor after you eat it, then the smell, and just kind of a color just to see.
There were a couple of ones that smelled pretty pungent.
Yeah,
I would
like
say.
actually burnt my nose.
And wasn't a good smell.
No.
So smell is important. It's part of the senses.
It is.
And although I was kind of surprised for our number 2 when it all came down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually really surprising.
Even on my Mayo test notes here, for my blind tasting, it ended up being my second choice as well.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we had our blind testing.
Like our blind tasting, but where we tried to guess which one was which.
Yes, and then kind of we put them in our order of what we thought was best by blind. And then tasting all the other things that we've made with each kind of came up with our overall
number 1.
top 7.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, do you want to go through the top 7?
Yeah, we can just go. Do you want to start with the worst, or you want to start with the best?
Okay, I'm just gonna we'll get rid of the worst one just to break everybody, suspense, and then we can just forget about it ever exists.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the worst mayonnaise ever created on this earth is vegan mayo.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Look, I understand vegetarians. I understand pescatarians. I understand a lot of diet options and diet lifestyles, as we call them.
Yeah.
And actually, contractually, when we used to do film catering, we had a part that we do not cater to lifestyle choices. And I'm sorry, but veganism is 99.9% a lifestyle choice. And vegan mayo is garbage. If you want mayonnaise, stop being a vegan.
I mean, let's just be straightforward. If you're a vegan, you take supplements.
Yes. And I'm telling you what, on that vegan mayo, where's my notes? I'm going to read what? My little quick notes I jotted down. Not good. Chemical. Tastes bad. Salty. And what did you write on your?
Yeah, and these were blind tastings.
Yes.
I wrote low acid, vegetable oil flavor, zesty chemical flavor, sweet chemical smell, and it was not really good. A little bit of salty.
So, see, we both blind tasting came up with chemical, salty, and not good.
Yeah.
And I know companies are trying to play into it, but I'm sorry, if you're going to be a vegan or live that way, man, there's some things you just aren't going to eat, and mayonnaise is one of them. And don't try to say it's good, because there's a couple other vegan mayonnaise that I've tried, and it's just as bad as this one.
Yeah.
So if you really want mayo, be a vegetarian, not a vegan. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I'm sure there'll be some hate mail of vegan this, and I'll be like, well, I don't really care.
I mean, there's going to be, but truly, from a completely blind tasting standpoint, you truly could taste a chemical
Yes.
kind of.
Just like Impossible
It was
Meat.
apparent.
All those, products that they try to make vegan food into real food is overprocessed, full of flavor additives, chemicals. And how is that good for you? Now, if you want to be a vegan and eat just vegetables, that's a lot better than eating this processed chemical garbage.
And when we say just vegetables, we don't mean processed vegetables to taste like something else.
Yes.
We mean you saute some veggies with some seasonings, and that's what you eat.
If you want a vegan burger, then make some black beans or chickpeas and make it yourself.
Yeah.
Don't buy a product that is horrible for you, that you might as well be eating McDonald's meat if you're going to eat vegan product. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. And you can argue, but nope. Argument's over. Vegan, it's no good. Be a vegetarian, okay?
Yeah.
Have a little cheese. Have a little milk. It's all right.
Yeah.
Unless you're lactose.
Then have some eggs. It's mayo.
So, that's enough said on the last one. Apparently, we don't like the vegan stuff. And I will say, for you people that are going to yell at me about veganism, I tried being a vegan. It was one of the worst 6 weeks of my life. I did 2 years as a vegetarian and then as a pescatarian, because I like enjoying different kind of dietary subjects, because I used to be a chef. I wanted to cook. I wanted to know.
Understand how these people.
How they survived, what actually makes good vegetarian meals and what makes good vegan meals. But I have an amazing vegan lasagna recipe that would blow your socks off. But when you break down how awful it is for you because of the vegan cheese and vegan meats and all this stuff.
All those additives.
It tastes great, and I fooled a lot of people, but it was horrible for you, and it was not good afterwards either. Leave it at that. So,
That's funny.
like I said, I understand vegetarians and everything else, but vegans, only if you're doing it for, you do it. You're an adult. Do whatever you want, but you're not going to have good mayo.
He's not wrong. You're not. It's just.
Oh. So off the soapbox on anti-veganism.
Yep. So.
Our number one was Kingston.
Yep, Sir Kingston.
It was the one that tasted the most like a real mayonnaise on sandwiches by itself, mixed in with other things, coleslaws, potato salads. It was really flavorful.
Yeah, it had a lot of flavor, actually. A very kind of citrusy, zesty essence to it. Almost like a bready flavor, too, kind of at the end. It was really good.
It was, and it was the most like real mayonnaise.
Yeah, it was.
And then our number two, which really surprised me.
Yeah, this was
because even on my blind tasting, it was my number two.
Yeah.
And it was the Great Value
It's crazy.
It
Walmart brand, great value.
Had good flavor, good texture, and it went great in so many things compared to a lot of the other name brand ones that didn't work out.
One of my major notes about it was that it was pretty good, and that it complemented the meal. So if you're looking for an ingredient where mayo, or if you're making something where you don't want the mayo to be necessarily a focus in the meal, a Great Value mayo is perfect for that, because it has a decent flavor, but it's not like, bam, I'm here. No. It's just a good mayo flavor. It's nice, mellow. It's there, but it's...
And hey, you got to love the price point, too.
Yeah, that's even...
Especially nowadays. Like, that's perfect. It's our number 2. Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to keep Kingston on hand, but we're going to keep Great Value on hand, too, for making all our potato salads and everything like that.
Yeah, which is actually really cool, because Sir Kingston, everybody may not be able to access that.
That's true.
But Great Value, pretty much everybody can access that. No. I'm not really sure of anywhere that doesn't have a Walmart within at least 15 minutes.
I mean, come on. That's the world we live in now.
Yeah.
But it does kind of, thinking about it, makes a lot of sense, because in restaurants and catering, as we've been in, majority of the time we would use kind of their generic, you could use Cisco Imperial or Benny Keith's generic mayo. So that's really what a lot of restaurant flavors, when you go out and eat somewhere out to eat and they have a coleslaw or a potato salad or whatever sandwiches, they're usually using the generic.
Yeah.
There was only one place we worked at when I was the executive chef there that the owner was very specific on using Hellmann's mayo, and trying to balance food cost with buying gallons of Hellmann's mayo was ridiculous.
And actually, that wasn't the only product that he was specific on getting
just on his mayonnaise. And of course, yes, the menu-wise it was great, but it was just to make chicken salad, but that's the way he wanted it. He loved the flavor profile of Hellmann's.
Which, so do we.
Which brings us to number 3, which was Hellmann's mayo was our number 3 choice. And I remember as a kid, that's the mayo my mom always kept in the fridge, was Hellmann's.
What's awesome is Hellmann's actually has an organic as well.
They do. And it's good. We usually buy it, although a little tidbit, always check on organic products their expiration date, because they are priced a little higher than most, and especially nowadays, so they don't have the same kind of turnaround. And there's been twice that I've bought organic mayo that I looked and like,
couple.
This is about 2 months expired.
Yep.
So just a little helpful hint: if you're buying organics, always check the date.
Which that's another thing. I understand organic stuff's more expensive, but we should try our best to make that a priority, I think.
No, I do. That's a whole nother subject.
It is a whole nother subject. But so Hellmann's, they do have an organic. Maybe if you're listening, Hellmann's, try and make it non-GMO.
Yeah. And now to our number 4 was Kraft Mayo.
Yes.
Which is surprising, because I don't like Kraft Mayo, really. Sorry, Kraft. I just don't like you. I don't like the consistency of it.
Yeah.
The flavor, where did I put it? It's too thin. I mean, it's okay, but it's a little off, and it has kind of a bad aftertaste.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, that one Deb's coleslaw recipe, you can use any mayo, but do not use Kraft.
Seriously.
And really, you don't want to use Kraft except for sandwiches. It's too thin, and it will water down your potato salad. It will really make thin, runny. It shouldn't say water down, but really runny sauce that will just not stick how a traditional mayo would. So, although Kraft for sandwiches, I mean, you're number 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's,
you're better than vegan. So.
Yeah. Well, anything's better than vegan.
Yeah. And then number 5, we Miracle Whip. And I know there's the anti-Miracle Whip and the pro-Miracle Whip. All those lobby, I don't know why. Miracle Whip, yes. Not technically a mayonnaise as itself. It's more of a flavored mayonnaise because it's sweeter, has some spices in it. But like I said, a lot of companies and restaurants would buy the Miracle Whip or salad dressing because the cost effective. It was much cheaper than regular mayo. And so a lot of times you're accustomed to getting sandwiches and burgers and whatnot made with Miracle Whip.
Yeah.
And personally, I like the little sweetness sometimes. No, not on everything, but for a good cold cut sandwich,
honestly, on a BLT, Miracle Whip is awesome.
Oh, yes, that sweet and the salty bacon pair beautifully together.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I would say if you're going to use Kraft, throw it in the trash and grab some Miracle Whip.
Yes. So, and really on my blind tasting, I had Kraft and Miracle Whip right there, my 3 and 4s.
Me too.
But I knew it was Miracle Whip because I know that that's the only overly sweetness mayonnaise out there. And I knew that was kind of our curveball of it's not really a mayonnaise, but
it does have a signature flavor though.
Yes. But I like Miracle Whip. I'll admit it.
Me too.
I'm not ashamed to admit I like Miracle Whip. I would be ashamed if I liked that vegan crap.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Okay. I said I would stop making fun of vegans.
Yeah. I thought you closed that box.
It's one box you can't close. And finally, the number 6, and this might be controversial, but Duke's. And I know there's a big Duke's following. In fact, right before we were to jump on here, I was reading an article about some people, and they were talking about Duke's. And there are some hardcore Duke people that you don't talk bad about Duke's. I mean, it's a cool name, but it was salty, briny, and kind of smelly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, these are my notes on it. Initially, an off-putting smell, so it has like almost a fermented kind of presence, and a little. Well, I noted overly acidic. So, I mean, it was a lot of that nose burn, and you can.
It's kind of the briny, salty acid.
Exactly. And I mean, it has its place. Like it could be pretty good, I would say, in maybe a coleslaw.
Yes.
If you want more of like a kind of more pungent.
To balance out some of the sweetness to the cold. Deb's coleslaw, I would use I'd use a Hellmann's.
Yeah. I mean, Hellmann's is majority it's our choice, but
I don't know. Duke's is okay. I know Grandma Honey, my mom, she switched over to Duke's from Hellmann's. And don't know how I feel about that, but
we'll fix that.
But yeah, so that's kind of the rundown. We got Kingston, Great Value, Hellmann's, Kraft, Miracle Whip, Duke's, and not even going to list the last one because it's not important. It doesn't exist.
But yeah, I mean, Sir Kingston, it scored number 1 just on the flavor. It has a very good flavor. And then on top of that, you've got organic and non-GMO.
And it's the closest to real homemade mayo.
Yeah. Now, the price point makes it a little harder. I'm not going to lie. We don't always get it.
No.
It's kind of more of an occasion kind of thing.
Yeah.
Typically, what we would get would be Hellmann's.
I think we usually go back to Great Value.
Yeah, maybe.
I know we can save more to buy Kingston.
Yeah, it's true.
But, I mean, Hellmann's Great Values seem to win out, and we've made a lot of recipes with it because when we're developing recipes and stuff, one of our key things we look into, yes, is flavor, but a big part is food cost. If it's too expensive for you to make, you're never going to make it. And so we really want these things to be cost effective, flavorful. And that's why we look into all this and really determine that you don't always have to go fancy pants name brand to have really good flavor and make great recipes.
True. You don't always have to.
And so that's why a lot of our recipes have been developed with more generic to see, because a lot of times, again, it comes from our restaurant point of view of, food costs, and breaking that down and knowing that, well, we're selling a product. We want it to be the best product, but we've also got to make money and not lose on it.
Which that does kind of show you the two sides of it, right? I mean, there's this is what I can afford, and or this is what I'm trying to sell. So it makes more sense that way. But also, we do also believe you want to take care of your body. And so the organic non-GMO, if you can do it, do it. It makes a very big difference.
It does.
But if you can't afford to, we understand. It's
Yes,
hard times, but the great value is a good option if that's...
It really is. And the biggest thing is, I would say, even more importantly than just shopping non-GMO organic, it's more get non-processed. Don't buy box dinners and that kind of garbage, because that's the worst for you.
Yeah.
The way they make a lot of this vegan mayonnaise is so overly processed, but all the processed foods, when it would be better just to go buy some fresh vegetables, some simple ingredients. Yes, great price points. They're not organic. Just wash them. It's okay. Or, that's why we love gardening too.
Yep. But, I mean, I think the point you're trying to get at is you got to crawl before you can sprint.
Yes, exactly. And you don't have to give up on flavor and health just because pricing is high. Because trust me, I would love to eat some things, but I can't afford it. I mean, truffle hot sauce, I would drink that stuff. But, I mean, for this much, for $8, not going to happen.
I ate a bottle
someone
of it.
had the entire bottle when I just bought it.
I don't know if you're getting this or not, but I like spicy food.
Yes. So, well, guys, and anything else on Mayonnaises?
No.
Mayonnaise?
Not really.
Well, and that's, I guess, that's it for today.
That's it, folks.
And again, thank you guys for tuning in. And remember to like, subscribe, and comment. You got questions? You want to yell at us for saying something? Come on.
Do it.
But let's just keep, a community, open dialogue. Y'all got ideas? We want to know them. We want to learn from you guys. And
or if you have just any questions or anything, just
let us know. And you can reach us in comments, or you can go to our website, outdoortestkitchen.org, and there's a contact page, and it'll come directly to our email. And there's also great recipes on there under the recipe tab. And pimento cheese is up. I know I'm not a great web designer, but we're getting things on there daily, not weekly. So just remember, check it out. And like always, guys, have a great week. And we will see you next week. So remember, keep camping and keep cooking.
Yeah.